Hello everyone, welcome to Network Africa. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. Leaders of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda are set to sign a peace deal aimed at ending the long-running conflict in the region. Ahead of the summit hosted by U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington, fighting has intensified in resource-rich eastern DR Congo between government forces and Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. The Congo's army have long accused its rivals of trying to sabotage the peace process, while the M23 rebels claimed the army launched an offensive in breach of a ceasefire. Earlier this year, the M23 seized large parts of eastern DR Congo in an offensive that left thousands dead and displaced many more. In June, President Donald Trump got the two countries' foreign ministers to sign a peace accord, hailing it as a glorious triumph. And now Presidents Tshisekedi and Kagame are expected to endorse it, with several other African and Arab leaders, including Burundi and Qatar, who are expected to attend the signing ceremony. Uganda's 2026 election is next month, and as preparations continue, the United Nations has condemned what it calls a crackdown on opposition and the media organizations in the country. The UN Rights Agency spokesperson Ravina Shamsani made these comments in Geneva following reports that the country's election campaigns have been marked by widespread arbitrary arrests, detentions, and the use of unnecessary force against the opposition, as well as undue restriction of press freedom. The world body is urging Ugandan authorities to end the pattern of repression, to cease the use of repressive tactics, and to enable Ugandans fully and peacefully exercise their rights to participate in their country's public affairs on the election day and its aftermath.
Intensifying crackdown on the opposition and media in Uganda ahead of next month's general election. It is deeply regrettable that the election campaigns have once again been marked by widespread arbitrary arrests, detentions, and the use of unnecessary or disproportionate force against the opposition, as well as undue restriction of press freedom. We urge the Ugandan authorities to end the pattern of repression, to cease the use of such repressive tactics, and to enable Ugandans to fully and peacefully exercise their right to participate in their country's public affairs on election day and in its aftermath. Reports of arbitrary arrests and detentions, as well as enforced disappearance, torture, and other ill treatment of opposition supporters and activists have been on a steady increase over the past year, with security forces accused of using unmarked minibuses, widely known as drones, to transport people to unofficial places of detention known as safe houses, where they are held incommunicado. Under international law, detainees should only be held in facilities officially acknowledged as places of detentions, including to prevent torture. In May, for example, the head of the military posted on X that he was holding the bodyguard of the opposition NUP's leader in his basement. Following a public outcry, the bodyguard was later presented in court, visibly shaking and showing other signs of physical torture. It does not appear that the court reacted to such signs of torture or ill treatment, and there is no indication that a thorough investigation has been carried out into this case by the competent authorities. In another recent case, two Kenyan activists who were arbitrarily detained in Uganda shortly after attending an opposition rally were handed over to the Kenyan authorities after more than a month of incommunicado detention, in what the Ugandan president called the fridge. Heavily armed security forces have been deployed at locations where the opposition NUP party is scheduled to conduct rallies. Last week, they reportedly used live ammunition in the eastern town of Iganga. We urge the Ugandan authorities to fully and impartially investigate all allegations of enforced disappearance, arbitrary arrest and detention, and torture or ill treatment, to punish those accountable, and to provide full reparation to the victims. All individuals arbitrarily deprived of their liberty should be released. The Ugandan authorities must halt all violence against the media and the opposition and act fully in accordance with their obligations under international human rights law.
Elsewhere, South Africa's Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Andries Nel, says the country welcomes the ceasefire between Palestine and Israel, but is deeply concerned that Israel is already violating the agreement. He made these remarks at the 48th commemoration of the UN International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people in Pretoria. Our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Demosa, reports.
Delegates witnessed a strong message of solidarity as South Africa reaffirmed its long-standing support for Palestine while marking 30 years of diplomatic relations between the two nations. Those behind the event says the gathering was formed as a moment of reflection, solidarity and a shared commitment to justice.
Today marks a very significant day. This day has been commemorated since 1977 when the UN decided to commemorate this day for the Palestinians in solidarity with the Palestinian people for their long struggle to freedom. It's a very significant day because all the people who seek for freedom and for the people who struggle for freedom.
South Africa's Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Andres Neil, welcomed the ceasefire between Palestine and Israel, but warned that Israel is already violating its terms.
The South African government has welcomed that ceasefire and that accord. We have urged all parties to adhere to that. We are distressed that the state of Israel seems to be violating that agreement on an ongoing basis. And we have urged, as I said, all parties to adhere to the terms of that agreement and to work towards a just, lasting and sustainable peace.
Last month, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu authorized renewed strikes on Gaza after officials accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire. South Africa's guest, the special envoy of President Mahmoud Abbas, His Excellency Dr. Sabri Saidam, says conditions on the ground remain dire.
Situation remains dire. There's no such thing as ceasefire. Don't be deceived. What Israel is doing is a continuation of the war you have witnessed over the last 2 years. There's been a severe bombardment of areas in Gaza. There's been various incursions. There's been confiscation of land in the West Bank, especially by settlers, and encouragement to settlers to confiscate and drive out people from their homes and their own places they live in around the West Bank. And there's been also the total closure of Gaza, Israel not allowing any proper or sufficient amount of food into Gaza.
With diplomatic ties now spanning 3 decades, Pretoria maintains that dialogue, accountability and respect for human rights are essential if lasting peace is to be achieved in the region. From Pretoria, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Russian Federation, Andrei Podlyshev, says his country stands on the side of Nigeria and Africa in the fight against terrorism in the country, as he encourages Nigeria to work with the Sahel states and all the countries in West Africa in the campaign. He was making the comment as he answered questions during an ambassadorial forum at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. Ambassador Podlyshev defended Russia's presence in the Sahel states by highlighting this was in honor of an invitation by the government of the countries and that Russia has made various efforts towards improving security on the continent.
In the Sahel region is, of course, is not very complicated. There are terrorist threats in this region. There are EU authorities in these regions. We know that Confederation of Sahel States was formed, and these Sahel states stepped out from ECOWAS, and this make this situation, its security, more complicated. We established relations with Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. We established relations because the authorities of these states asked requested our help in combating terrorist threats there. We proposed, we actually provided some military equipment for them. We are trying to train their military forces, but we understand that if we want to combat terrorism in this region, there should be common efforts of all the countries of West Africa.
Elsewhere, 47-year-old Libyan commander Khalid el-Hishri has made his first appearance before judges at the International Criminal Court on Wednesday. He stands accused of 6 counts of war crimes and another 6 of crimes against humanity, including torture, murder, rape, sexual violence, and persecution between February 2015 and early 2020 at the notorious Mitiga prison near Tripoli. Mr. el-Hishri was transferred to the Netherlands on Monday after the German government arrested him in July on a sealed ICC warrant. The court alleges that el-Hishri took part in personally torturing, mistreating, sexually abusing and killing detainees, and also exercised his authority over all Mitiga prison staff and detainees. In the meantime, a hearing at which judges will assess the strength of the evidence against him on a full trial has been scheduled for May 19, 2026. Representatives of African Airlines are in Luanda for the 57th African Airlines Association Annual General Assembly, where they seek to promote unity and long-term development in the sector. The gathering underlines the significance of the assembly in bringing together the continent's operators, stressing that the continent does not need to live in silos as airlines, but need to consolidate and work better together. Hosted by TAG Angola Airlines under the theme Redefining African Aviation, the conference reportedly brings together 516 participants from 49 countries to focus on connectivity, sustainability, and strategic growth in the aviation sector in Africa.
Continuamos a implementar medidas alinhadas com o princípio de céus abertos, garantindo previsibilidade, segurança jurídica e transparência.
And still to come on the program. Catholic Pontiff Pope Leo says he hopes to visit Africa in 2026 as he wraps up his first foreign trip. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're in Nigeria now. The Lagos State government in the country's southwest region has announced that the contractors handling the rehabilitation works along the Lekki-Epe expressway will vacate the site today, Thursday, December 4, 2025, and resume the rehabilitation works in January 2026. The State Special Advisor on Infrastructure, Mr. Olufemi Daramola, made this known during an on-the-spot assessment of the ongoing rehabilitation work from Admiralty Way to Jubilee Bridge in Ajah area of the state. The Lagos State team who visited the site apologized to road users plying the axis for the consistent gridlock being experienced in the area.
This project has started.
About a month ago, the Lagos State government announced the commencement of the rehabilitation work along the Lekki-Epe expressway, spanning through Admiralty Junction to Jubilee Bridge in Etiosa, local government area of Ajah. For the past 4 weeks, it's been a nightmare for motorists plying the route, with heavy gridlock in and out of the axis owing to the repair work and road diversion. Some of the road users have resorted to trekking, while others stuck in the traffic appeal to the government to provide alternative route.
We been on this road since 5 a.m. I think the government should do something. Since 5 a.m., open the coastal road. If you are repairing this road, then give us an alternative. You can't box all of us here since 5 a.m.
The outcry of commuters appear to have gotten the attention of the government as the team from the Office of Infrastructure and the Ministry of Transportation visit the area to see the progress of work.
You open this so that this vehicle traffic now can move straight on this lane up to where you are laying binder. And now, no need binder wearing. Let's do only binder, cover everything.
The special advisor on infrastructure says the contractors in charge of the rehabilitation work will stop work on Thursday, December the 4th, and resume in January 2026.
We appreciate the patience of Lagosians. However, we are also very wary of the hardship it has brought, but it's temporary. We mentioned earlier that this will be on critical sections so that we can open by the end of the first week of December, and that is our aim. We've come to visit the site to see the progress towards opening immediately. We've taken a look at the Chevron intersection, and that has been opened, and this section and other sections will be opened in due course.
The State Commissioner for Transportation expresses sympathy with motorists plying the Lekki-Epe Expressway and also speaks confidently on the durability of the road sections that have been fixed.
I empathize with all of the troubles that they must have been through in a couple of days. It's also very important for us to also fix this road because bad road is synonymous to traffic as well. We know that a lot of people will be coming in from diaspora and we want to give them a good experience of our roads. So we will be leaving this location by end of work tomorrow and the roads will be free for us to use. I can tell you for free that for the part that they've done, the Goshians will be happy.
The Lagos State government says work will resume fully on the Lekki-Epe Expressway after the Yuletide season, just to ensure that the critical road structure corridor providing access to residential, commercial and industrial hubs within the eastern flank of the state return to shape as soon as possible.
As the world marks the 2025 International Day of Persons with Disabilities, global attention is focused on the need for governments, institutions, and communities to foster disability-inclusive societies for advancing social progress. This message resonated strongly at an event in Lagos State to commemorate the day. Speaking at the gathering, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, announced plans to introduce a comprehensive policy framework to improve accessibility, strengthen inclusive education and transportation, as well as expand economic empowerment opportunities for persons with disabilities.
The 2025 International Day of Persons with Disabilities is being marked in Lagos with a strong call for inclusion and social justice. This commemoration event brings together policymakers, advocates and experts to push for full social participation for persons with disabilities, stressing that barriers to education, health, employment and mobility must be dismantled.
It also reminds us that inclusion is a shared responsibility, one that does not rest on the government alone, but on all stakeholders working together. LASORA continues to implement initiatives that advance inclusion and improve the quality of life for persons with disabilities. These include strategic engagements with NGOs and private organizations, capacity building programs, entrepreneurial support, awareness campaigns, and recognition of institutions contributing to disability inclusion.
Discussions focus on 4 key pillars for an inclusive Lagos: transportation, education, health and technology.
People in the tech sector like myself and other assistive technology practitioners is to bring digital skills to people.
Speakers emphasize the need for innovative, tech-driven solutions as the state government reiterates its commitment to strengthening disability reforms.
Today, I am pleased to announce that very soon Lagos State will introduce the Lagos Disability Inclusion Compact. This is a comprehensive policy framework designed to deepen accessibility, expand inclusive education, strengthen transportation support, enhance economic empowerment programs, improve digital accessibility, and reinforce LASODA's regulatory and enforcement powers.
A highlight of the event is the distribution of assistive devices to over 200 beneficiaries to enhance mobility and independence.
There is different when you give skill to people and there's no market for their skills. It will be very, very inclusive if the Lagos State government can come up with corner shops among in the business area, district areas that are specially designed to be owned by only people with disability.
The message from the 2025 International Day of Persons with Disabilities is clear. Breaking barriers is essential to building a fair, inclusive society where every person has the opportunity to thrive.
Pope Leo XIV has wrapped up his first international trip as pontiff, leaving Beirut on the Papal plain after a 6-day tour of Turkey and Lebanon, which ended on Tuesday. He's already looking ahead to the next one, saying he hopes to visit Africa in 2026. Pope Leo singled out Algeria, where he says he would like to see the places that characterized the life of St. Augustine. According to him, such a visit would help to continue the discourse of dialogue and bridge building between the Christian and Muslim worlds. The pontiff, who assumed the papacy in May, belongs to the Augustinian order, which was founded in the 13th century and has nearly 3,000 members in 50 countries. The Vatican said a trip to Africa would also include Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea. And finally, did you know that Africa has the greatest diversity of megafauna species or large animals in the world? These animals include elephants, rhinos, hippos, and giraffes, amongst others. One major reason they survived while many other large animals in other continents went extinct is that African megafauna co-evolved with early humans, gradually developing behaviors that made them more cautious and better adapted to human presence. However, since European colonization and the Industrial Revolution, many African species have suffered sharp population declines due to habitat loss, hunting, and poaching. That's our show today. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.